On. There we go. Welcome, friends and family, to the newest edition of the Backdoor Cut. Today, we got a full squadron of barn burner folks over here. A little round table action for you as we get through the holidays. So we got the Barn Chief, Barn Burner Slim, and myself. How are you guys doing?
Oh, well, we just watched the Titans lose the final game of their season, win or go home, and we are headed home. like you said, man, we almost had to snap that ball from the tunnel on our last drive. So, that's a tough one, but it is what it is. But what makes it hurt even worse is coming off of yesterday's Grizzlies collapse against the Celtics when we gave up that 19-point lead, man. Because at the end of the first half, I thought we were playing so great. And I thought we were getting back on track. Would have been our third win in a row, but Grizzlies had other plans, and we fucking blew it, like always.
Like always. That's a sad kind of recognition, but man, I'm back, feeling good. I feel like the holidays have passed. Good time with friends and family. We're about to have New Year's Eve tomorrow, and welcome 2019, which will surely be a better year than 2018. We all hope, and certainly a good year for the barn as well. So looking forward to that. And also, I'd just like to announce that I'm cleared to play, and I'm ready for JB to put me in. I don't know why he keeps letting me ride the bench. I'm ready to play, and I'm going to start posting really passive-aggressive Instagram pictures about it.
Get your agent involved.
Help you.
Yeah. Help me help you, barn readers. What I'm healthy. I'm ready to play.
All right, so let's just dive right into that, man. So Chandler Parsons saying, "Help me help you." Like this dude didn't average 6 points on 30% from three, was a minus 3.7 in plus minus, had 1.3 rebounds a game and 0 free throw attempts in the first 3 games he played this year. So, I'm all for healthy guys playing, but let's not act like you've earned a spot on this team, Chandler, even though you were a starter somehow coming out of training camp, even though he couldn't guard anyone. I'm not sure how much help he's actually going to be. How do you guys feel about this little Chandler Parsons media play between him and his agent and the Grizzlies?
We saw him start at the 3 too, and something that I think would have been better was him playing the 4. I think he could have guarded 4s better, but maybe bring him off the bench and have him play the 4 there. But then we've got Noah, we've got JaMychal, so it's kind of a log jam. I agree. I mean, this year he's been terrible. He was terrible. He couldn't guard anybody. Didn't really do anything super well. Looked really immobile. But, man, like last year he was pretty good. Defensively, I remember being surprised. He was a plus defensively, and he's really intelligent. And he's long, so he could defend guys, even though he wasn't as quick. But this year, it looks like it finally all caught up with him mentally and physically. He just looks like a complete shell of the guy he was.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out where he would fit in the lineup, and like you mentioned, we got several other guys. Kyle's playing at the 4,
right?
Rab's seeing some sporadic minutes.
Your boy,
Rab Stan over here, leading the pack. Anytime I can say something positive about him, I'm going to do it.
Sure,
but I really don't know. And we got the log jam on the wings, and we still don't know who's going to play there. So I would, I don't think adding an extra layer of complexity to that is really going to help the situation, because we still, it'll be Selden for a few games, Marshawn for a few games, and that's still just a cluster over there.
And I mean, we still got Caspi too, who can't even get minutes. I'm not sure Chandler Parsons is better than Caspi at this point.
Nah, Caspi's super efficient when he's in the game.
Which I don't know why he's not getting in the game.
I don't know.
It blows my mind.
JaMychal, I guess, gets all his minutes. I guess.
How does JaMychal? He gets everyone's minutes. I don't get it. That's just the thing. If you look online, he's getting everyone's minutes.
Yeah, and it's really crazy because as hard as JaMychal plays and as much as he seems to bring to the table, if you look at all of our worst lineups, JaMychal is in them. I mean, and he is the linchpin in these lineups. Like the top 3 worst 2-man lineups, J-Mike's in all 3. The top 3 worst 3-man lineups, J-Mike's in all 3. The top 3 worst 4-man lineups, J-Mike's in all 3. And 5-man lineups, yep, he's in all the worst ones.
Do you think that's
defensively or what? Yeah, I don't know what specifically.
Would you say that's directly because of him or because he's having to play with a lot of second unit guys who are struggling on, both ends of the court?
So our second worst two-man combination is Mark and JaMychal. And a lot of these lineups include him and Mark. The worst one is Kyle, Mark, J. Mike, Shelvin, and Temple. So I'll give you that one because you got Shelvin and J. Mike. But the next worst five-man is Mike, Mark, J. Mike, Shelvin, and Temple. So, in those two. But I've been trying to figure it out all day, and I can't put my finger on it because even our third worst five-man is Kyle, Mike, Mark, J. Mike, and Temple. So, which would, in theory, be the starting lineup if Jaren Jackson wasn't around.
Yeah, it's very interesting because if you just look at the regular numbers, he's usually the guy. He's out there rebounding more than on most nights. The rest of the team, even Mark, and especially last night, Mark was playing a lot of high post and he was dealing. He had 7 assists in the first half, but he had 2 rebounds or something. So he's not able to do both those things, distribute and rebound, because he's not in position on the floor to do that a lot of times.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if it's maybe just with J. Mike on the floor, we don't have any scoring because he's usually playing with Shelvin. So that means Mike's not in and Jaren's not in. So there's no playmaking really to be done.
Yeah, that's definitely been a hot topic for a lot of people. I think between Shelvin and JaMychal's playing time, that's probably the biggest overall gripe, the theme of griping between Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, all the armchair coaches.
So everybody wants to see Javon Carter take some of Shelvin's minutes, and then I don't. What do we want? What do people want with J. Mike's minutes? I mean, more Jaren and Jaren closing out games. But I don't know. Is that, do we just want to see J. Mike traded? I've been thinking about this all day. I can't put my finger on what's making him the standout of these worst lineups.
Yeah, because it's a mystery. We need some advanced analytics guys on staff. Where do we get those, Sam?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna walk down to the corner at Union and McLean here and maybe find somebody. I think it's more of a product probably with the lineups he's playing with, and because he's not a guy that can really get his own shot, and he does play hard, but he's not ever known as a super good defensive player. He's not a rim protector per se, so. There's a combination of all those things. I don't think he's been particularly bad, but I'd be happy to trade him for the right person. And he's a good trade asset because he's like $8 million a year, expiring contract. He can give you some good, solid hustle minutes. Maybe you can re-sign him if you want, if you're that team. So I don't. It's not really to open up minutes for someone else necessarily, but if he's not, if he's part of a huge negative bell curve, I guess, that we see, then maybe he doesn't need to be on the team.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting to keep an eye on. I think a lot of people just want to see Jaren Jackson closing out fourth quarters, and then a lot of the griping about JaMychal will probably go away. Because when you look at fourth quarters in December, J. Mike is shooting 31% from the field, whopping 0% from deep. And Jaren Jackson is shooting 50% from the field in fourth quarters and 40% from deep. So that alone, would seem to, and I understand the foul trouble, and maybe there are some games like when J. Mike first came back, he deserved to be closing out some of those games the way he was playing, because he just came out like a man on fire, returning from that broken jaw, and he was really playing well. So some of those games I didn't mind him closing out. But just with the Grizzlies' offensive struggles and Jaren's continued growth and just proof that he can make plays offensively in a variety of ways, which this team desperately needs, I don't understand not only why he's not closing out the games, but how we're going these long stretches in the second half of him not seeing time. Like from when he first gets taken out in the third quarter to, like midway through the fourth quarter, it's like JB forgets he's on the bench and doesn't put him in. And that's usually when our lead is collapsing, such as the game versus the Celtics and then also the game versus the Kings. I guess that was 4 games ago now. It was the last game we lost to that 5-game skid. So more so than closing out, I would just like to see JB not seem to forget about Jaren Jackson on the bench when these leads are evaporating.
Yeah, because even when he makes like rookie mistakes, if he fouls a guy or something and like gives up an M1, his defensive presence is such an intangible aspect, especially when he's playing with Mark. I mean, they're just like forces down there and really smart and really long, and I feel like it really affects the game. And the metrics show that too. When they're both on the floor, we allow the fewest points, and so it's just it's one of those things that if we see a lead evaporating, what do we need? Oh, like a incredible rim protector, like one of the best shot blockers that's come out of college in the past 10 years, sitting on our bench. Like that doesn't make any sense. And everyone said it, man. Like it's all over Twitter. I feel like we're beating a dead horse or a dead grizz, so to speak. And I don't know what's going on, but I mean, everyone's calling for JB to be fired, and then there's that whole like the Grizzlies don't want to fire another coach. So I don't know, man. It's a bizarre situation, but Jaren's got to play more.
And the guy can close. It's not like, oh, we're not sure. I mean, have we already forgotten about the Brooklyn game? And then
the Lakers game too.
Dropping off LeBron at the end of the game to pretty much put the game out of reach. Like those are big time moments for a rookie.
Yeah. So how did y'all feel in that Celtics game when Jaren he closed out on Horford and then Horford drove by him, got the and one. Would y'all have taken him out right there too? I mean, it was pretty decent defense. Like he got beat, but he recovered. He's just a veteran center, I thought. And he'd been on the bench for probably 30 minutes of real life time. Like, what do you expect? This is. I don't even care if it is a vet. It's hard to be that integral in the game and then just be on the bench for like probably 25 real life minutes. In 10 minutes of game time or whatever the time actually was of game time. But I know he sat on the bench for a long damn time. And then you just expect him to get back out there, like he's been playing the whole second half. And he makes one mistake and you yank him. Or I guess he had 2 fouls, but still, I mean, he only had 4 overall. So I just don't understand. I don't understand what he's got to do to prove that he belongs out there.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like we all agree. We probably would not have yanked him in that particular scenario, especially because the alternatives aren't like – it's not like we bring in, another really good big man off the bench that was resting. He is the guy. Like, so it's like we noticed it. We were watching the game, man. Like the second he got pulled out in the third quarter, and then we were like, all right, when's he going to come back? And then Bro was like, oh, probably at the 10-minute mark in the fourth quarter. And then it was 10 minutes. Then it was 8 minutes. He's like, oh, probably pretty soon. And then it just like we just kept realizing he wasn't in the game. And I remember we repeatedly, like over and over, kept saying like, where's Jaren? Like because he was playing well. He had like 16 points at this point. Yeah. And it's not like he was having one of those bad offensive games where just like nothing would drop for him around the basket. He was hooping. And I don't know, like it's almost like I'm like just annoyed to even talk about it because it doesn't make any sense to us.
Yeah, and JB says it was to go small and like switch everything defensively, which I don't even want to touch if we did do that stuff following that substitution because I don't think we did.
No,
but going like on the offensive end, a team that all we do is in the fourth quarter is give it to Mike Conley and hope he can just will in some buckets. Yeah. Jason Tatum cannot guard Jaren Jackson, and Jaren proved that in the first half. Like Jason Tatum or any of those smaller forwards that they tried to put on him could not hold him, and it was evidenced by Brad Stevens immediately inserting the Morris twin when he saw Jackson was back in the game, and then when we took Jaren out, Brad Stevens tried to bring Morris back to the bench. He's a matchup problem. Like on the offensive end, and a team like us that struggles as much as we do to score, he's got to be on the court, man. And yeah, I think we all agree with that. So we can move on unless y'all got any closing things on that.
Nah. On a lighter, more uplifting note, have you guys gone in and voted for Mike for All-Star every day since it opened on like Christmas Eve or whatever it was?
I haven't as much as I should have. I'll say that, but I have a couple times.
Same. But you've been diligently posting on your Twitter account, and so we appreciate that, and I'm sure Mike does too.
I just wanted one retweet from him. That's all I'm asking, Mike. If you're out there, Mike, just one retweet.
Help me help you, Mike.
Help me.
And I know I said we're going to leave it alone, but I got one more thing on Jaren.
Okay.
Let's do it.
His per 36 numbers, he would be averaging 18.7 points per game, which would be good for second best on the team, 6.5 boards, and 2.5 blocks per game. And he's currently the second leader on our team and with 51 shooting fouls drawn. So, like, we need offense. We've got it. We just got to play it.
I know. I mean, in 36 minutes of metrics to show a starting NBA player. That's like so there's no reason he shouldn't be playing those minutes right now. Luka's playing those minutes. Aiden's playing those minutes.
Those numbers are better than Marc Gasol's.
Yeah.
Per 36.
Yeah.
How many fouls is that per 36 when it extrapolated to that?
I don't look at fouls. Come on, negative Nancy.
Well, I just want to make sure it's not like 7 fouls or something. You know?
I mean, I'm sure there will be games if you did that, he would foul out. But like, so what? You know, like what? I don't understand. It's not like when a player fouls out, the other team gets like 10 points or something.
You foul out. You foul out.
Yeah, who fucking cares?
If you're not coming back in the game anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But back to Mike Conley for All-Star. So looking at the West, I think the starters are probably going to be pretty much locked in which they get the fan votes and all that. They do the fan, the media. Bro can break it down.
Yeah,
quick.
Yeah, it's fit. So the starters, the 10 starters, 5 from each. They're doing that like draft thing again. They're televising it, but there's still 5 people who are for sure going to start from the West, 5 from the East. And they're selected 50% from fan vote, 25% from media, and 25% from active players. So like guys that are in the league right now. And then there's I think it's 7 reserves that from each conference that are selected by the head coaches in the league. And you can't vote for your own player.
Gotcha.
I know it's surprisingly hard to track down that information. I would think it'd be like right on NBA's website, but it wasn't. So everyone, you're welcome for me spending several minutes on Google.
Mm-hmm. Bro did the legwork, so you don't have to.
Yeah, man, appreciate that. So
got it.
So I mean, I think the West is pretty locked down. It's got to be LeBron, Steph, Harden, KD, and AD, right?
Yep, that's what I got.
Yeah.
So then at the guard position, you got Russ and probably Dame, who are locked in.
Mm-hmm.
In the front court, you probably got Jokic and Paul George locked in, I would say.
Man, did you look at my notes?
No, I mean these are just they're pretty simple ones this year. I feel like so with that, I think you have 3 spots left. You have 1 front court spot and 2 wild cards. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So the front court probably goes to Karl Anthony Towns, or LaMarcus, or Marc Gasol.
There's a lot of good centers this year in the West.
Yeah,
you think Steven Adams? Steven Adams, sneaky pick.
Rudy Gobert's he's still doing well. Clint Capella. It's actually a surprising amount of centers that are good
Capella's
in the
had
West.
a great season.
Yeah, so I mean, I think whoever's team wins some games over these next few weeks will probably set themselves apart between Cat, Gasol, and like even LaMarcus Aldridge. But I don't think Adams will get it just because 2 Thunder are already going to be in.
Mm.
And then Capella, I mean, I don't know. I just feel like he doesn't get that much love.
Yeah, he might get one later on in his career, but he's probably like one of those guys like him, De'Aaron Fox, like not going to happen just because they're younger.
And Gobert, the Jazz have just been so underwhelming.
Yeah.
So, I mean, as long as the Grizzlies don't lose, Mark has a good shot at that one.
Mm-hmm.
Or don't like go on a huge losing streak. But then we would have 2 wild card spots left. So that would probably go to.
You got DeRozan.
Yeah, you got DeRozan. You got Mike. You got Clay, maybe. Has Clay been All-Star worthy this year?
He's got that kind of institutionalized all-starness. He's actually been pretty bad shooting wise. I think he's shooting
Right.
like 31% or something. So he's actually had a really bad year. So the answer to your question is no, but he probably will be. Like we've
Yeah.
seen this time and time again. We saw Tim Duncan, 1 foot in the grave, like make the All-Star team.
Vince
Yeah.
Carter is going to
You know?
be on it, right?
Yeah, I mean that's what's such a pain in the ass about it is these guys that are like grandfathered in kind of.
So to me, the guys Conley's got to beat out is Clay, which will be tough. DeRozan and Drew Holiday.
Man, I didn't think about DeRozan. Like he's going to make it.
Someone from
he
the Spurs
should,
got
yeah.
to make
Yeah.
it, right?
DeRozan is the leading scorer on that team, and they're on like a 7-game winning streak right now. He's the best player on that team. Yeah, someone from's got to make it, and he's a perennial All-Star. He's a 4 or 5-time guy from the Raptors, so he's got that cred.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't argue with that. I think so. We had the 9 locks, and then we had 3 extra spots. I think my 3 final spots, the final front court, would go to Karl Anthony Towns, and then my wild cards would go to DeRozan and Conley. There's no way Marc Gasol should get in the All-Star game over Mike Conley. No, absolutely no way.
No, I mean Mike's our best player, so
Except for that he's been one, and like there's more, maybe more of a like Cat is having kind of not as good a year, and the Wolves are bad. I think you could justify him over his like compatriots more than you could Mike because of the stupid positioning of it. Like how you got to have the front court and then the guards and stuff. So I don't know. I mean, Mike's been better, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
We know this is bullshit. Like it happens every year where there's some arguable ones, but
here's a sneaky one that I've seen a lot of people talking about.
Luka?
No,
I've seen some of that. I mean,
Tobias Harris.
no.
what? Oh,
Keep
no,
going.
it's like-
Keep
yeah.
going. Amazing comeback year. Former Memphis Tiger,
Oh, D Rose.
D Rose.
Oh yeah.
I've seen that as a lot of people are pushing for that, so I don't. Probably not. I don't think, but
His stats aren't as good as Conley's,
Yeah, no,
But he
not
plays
over
less
Mike Conley.
but yeah.
it's a good story. You know how the NBA loves stories, so something squirrely could happen. I wouldn't put money on it, but I don't know.
No, sure, you're right. They love the narratives.
I think for Mike, the Grizzlies need to go on a winning streak. I really do.
Yeah. Same.
As I think voting closes up about around MLK Day, I think. So I think what we do between now and then is really gonna set the tone.
Yeah, but more than that, we just got to beat a bunch of these coaches right before they submit their ballots because he's not going to be a starter. So we just need to, you got to rely on the coaches. So I don't know if we need to send some barn burner care packages to each coach asking for their vote. I wonder how the coaches vote. I mean, like, does their secretary do it for them, or like
They tell Woj, and then he votes for them.
I feel like it's probably like a little link gets sent to their email and they click on it and do it online. Probably.
It's on like Chip Survey Monkey or
Survey Monkey.
They allow Popovich to write his ballot in via like snail mail because he doesn't deal with that online bullshit.
I don't know, man. They might have to do a lockdown browser or something like we did in college.
Oh yeah, good call. Good call.
So yeah, I think we all agree Mike deserves it more than Mark, but Mark has just as good a shot, if not better, than Mike to get into the All-Star game in Charlotte in February.
We didn't even talk about Chris Paul too, who we're just assuming is too injured to make it, which is probably true, but still one of those guys that like he's
a perennial guy.
I mean, has he missed an All-Star game like since his since he started making them? I don't know.
I mean, the coaches cannot justify voting him in. They were bad with him. Like he wasn't good. The Rockets were at the bottom of the West. So yeah, I don't know. But speaking of bad with them, Grizzlies from December 14th to December 21st went on a 5-game losing streak, which included losses to Miami, Houston, Golden State, Portland, and Sacramento Kings. So, bro, you want to highlight some things that kind of stood out to you during that awful span of games?
Yeah, actually, a lot of those I was on the East time, so those were super late. So I was like zoning in and out of a lot of those. But I think just overall, the was at the Heat game, and that was pretty demoralizing. because you felt like you were in it the whole time, and then that was a game you should have won. And even afterwards, that was when all that trade stuff was going on with the Brooks brothers, so that was like a distraction. And I was not even that upset afterwards. I was like, all right, sweet, we got this trade going. Some good things are going to happen, and then it just turned to crap really quickly.
Yeah,
and that I felt like that. I don't know. Do you think that like impacted the locker room and just everyone's attitudes, and that kind of stole some of their thunder? Plus the fact that they had to play, 3 to 4 playoff teams on that trip right after that. That's a tough time.
Yeah, I definitely don't think the timing was ideal. Because even in that game, I don't know if JB was going to go back to playing Marshawn, but he didn't put him back in like once the reports leaked. So I don't know if he knew something was going on, but Marshawn was playing well that game against Miami, and then we just kind of blew that one. And then the one against the Kings was another one that really hurt on that 5-game skid. So the ones against the Rockets, Warriors, and Blazers, I think we kind of expected to lose, but the front end and the back end killed us. And I don't think the timing of that trade fiasco, and then the reports that we were signing Austin Rivers and we had no interest in Austin Rivers.
Man.
I don't know what Shams is doing out there, man.
Yeah, he's slipping.
Yeah, he had a tough finish to 2018. So did I. So Shams and I, love you, man. We'll be back in 2019.
Yeah, but speaking of Shams, I saw Eric Lentz from BlueWorldOrder.com, 15-year-old that's Sane's website. Sane, who's now with the Memphis Flyer, broke the news that DJ Stephens was getting waived and Jarnell Stokes is going to be signed by the Grizzlies. So shout out to Eric Lentz.
Yeah, man, he's making waves. Already getting those connections. People know who he is. So future Daily Memphian guy, if it's still around by then, probably.
Oh yeah, for sure. But back to the Grizzlies losing streak.
Kyle Anderson actually played. I mean, he was our 4th leading scorer during that, so which is probably not the greatest sign, I don't think. And one thing that does stick out to me is that JaMychal did play not well. He averaged 7 points, 4 or 5 rebounds in 24 minutes of play during that time.
Wasn't this during Mark's ankle, when he's playing through his ankle stuff? So he was playing real bad and really hestant to shoot, and doing the thing where he dishes it right back to Mike and makes Mike take like a 3-second shot clock shot.
Yeah, well, during that stretch, Mark, J-Mike, Wayne Selden, and Marshawn all shot below 30% from 3. So, I mean, it's hard to win like that.
Right.
I mean, we only averaged 96 points per game, and I think we shot 33% from deep as a team, last in rebounding like always, or near last. So, and weren't getting to the free throw line. And I think the timing of everything, and just, we were bound to go on a skid like this at some point. It was bad timing for both of those to happen at the same time.
What happened in the Kings game? Because I know we had a lead. I didn't get to watch that one.
It was very, very much like the Celtics game. Jaren went out with like 9:36 to go in the 4th, and we were up 79-72, and then he didn't come back in until 20 seconds left, and we were up by 1. And I mean, we couldn't score. The same thing that happens when we blow all these games. We just
freak out. Yeah,
we start to coast, and then the other teams, it seems like they're getting straight line drives at the rim, and if somebody does happen to stop them from getting to the rim, then they pass it to a wide open shooter for 3. So,
man, there's so many wide open 3 shots on us. I feel like everyone gets right to the rim, we all collapse, and then we sit there and scratch our heads while I insert form 3-point shooter just dances on me in the forum every single time. Ugh.
Yeah, it really does. And yeah, so I mean that was a stretch of games to forget. But then since then we've played the Lakers, Cavs, and Celtics, and we beat the Lakers. That's when Jaren had that big 3 over LeBron with like a minute to go to kind of ice the game. Held on for a win over the Cavs, in which we led wire to wire for the first time in what felt like forever. And then of course, disappointing loss to the Celtics. So what do you think about these last 3 games?
The Lakers game was really encouraging. I thought that we came out, played hard, played tough defense. That Zubats guy, he played really well. He's actually he's been filling in some starts, and I think he started 4 or 5 games in a row for the Lakers, and he had like 20 points in each of those games. So what he did to us was not, that wasn't an exception, I guess, to how he was playing. But he was impressive. But the main thing, we didn't let them hit 45 threes on us. So that was good.
Yeah.
That's definitely helpful.
And Zubac couldn't hold Jaren on the defensive end. Jaren was driving by him. I mean, he was just showing off all the tools. I feel like this show is like a Jaren Jackson love fest, because that's what Grizzlies games have kind of turned to when Mike Conley is not, closing them out in the fourth quarter for us.
Yeah, and you could sense the tension last night in the forum. Like you can hear everyone like, "Where's Jaren? Where's Jaren?" And when he would finally come back in, everyone like cheered because he was coming in, and you could hear there were some boos when JB took him out after those fouls. People were getting pretty restless. Give the people what they want, please.
Yeah, well, here's the thing: if we're not giving up 19-point leads when Jaren's on the bench, then okay, keep him on the bench. But we're giving up these leads, and it's like a consistent theme. So it's just, JB's going to have to make a change. Like, I don't know if it's one of his assistants that needs to let him know, or he just needs to stop being stubborn, or what it is. But it's obviously causing us to lose games.
Yep. It's hurting for sure. So upcoming this week, got 4 more games. We're at Houston tomorrow night. Pistons here Wednesday. Nets here Friday. Saturday at San Antonio. So we got a, pun intended, red hot James Harden coming. Or we're going to visit him.
Mm-hmm.
They're on a 4-game win streak. He scored 40 points in 3 straight games. And he's leading the league in scoring right now with 33 per game. And I think Durant is second. He's averaging 28 something. So Harden's averaging almost 5 more points than the next closest person.
I'm going to say this. I want no parts of James Harden right now.
Ooh, no, this is not a good intersection of time for us to be playing them.
No, yeah, I'm just ready for like a million foul calls on. I mean, he's going to go right at Jaren, I feel like. And Jaren's going to like reach a little bit instead of keeping straight up. And he's going to get a quick 2 on Jaren, like right off the bat. And I just honestly, can we skip this one? Can we just take a 0 on it and move on to the Pistons?
Yeah, it's tomorrow night, so I mean, you don't have to watch it. I guess I'm sure that you got something else to do.
I might.
So I mean, we kind of expect to lose that one. But then I think the next 3 we need to win 3 in a row against Detroit, Brooklyn, and at San Antonio. Even though San Antonio is a back-to-back on the road, and we're only like I think 1-3 in back-to-back so far this year. But we really need those 3 after this Houston game, I feel like.
Yeah, the Detroit game is gonna be ugly because they're like in bottom third in offense, just like us. They're like a few spots behind us in defense. It's gonna be like a 85-79 game or something like that. It's gonna be gross.
Reggie Jackson's been terrible. So does Jaren guard Blake and vice versa, I assume? That should be interesting.
I've watched 0 Pistons basketball this year, I'm pretty sure. I don't think I've seen them play once.
I know Blake's been playing really well.
Yeah,
he's like 24 and 12 and shooting like 40% from 3, like shooting 4 threes a game or something. Like,
what about the white dude they drafted a couple years ago?
Oh, from Duke,
Luke Kennard.
Yeah, I don't think
him.
Yeah, I don't think he does anything.
Yeah, 6 points. Andre Drummond he's averaging 17.5 with 15 rebounds.
Oh, so that's your boy from last year.
Yeah, get him in the.
This year he deserves it more, man. That's a better stat line.
2 blocks a game too, so he's gonna be a force down there to work around.
Yeah,
so that should be pretty interesting.
Damn, Blake, 25, 9, 5 assists a game. 52% from the field, 36% from 3 on 6 attempts a game.
Wow, he's jacking them up. He leads their team.
Yeah, he's been really good.
Well, I mean, team that plays the same type of pace as us is a welcome sight in my eyes.
Yeah.
Especially after playing Houston.
Do we beat those teams usually? I've never actually like run that. Do we beat the kind of teams that slog along? Like who is that? The Pistons, the
Spurs are doing it this year. Actually, Houston is pretty slow in pace of play this year. I think because they're just having to go ISO with Harden more so than the quick shot that they were maybe last year. I think they're slowing it down more because they're not as good, so they're trying to limit the possessions.
Yeah.
So Dylan Brooks is back. I don't think we mentioned that.
Dylan.
Yeah, and he's looking pretty good. He had a big night last night with 19 points. He was hitting open jumpers, looking good offensively and bringing that fire defensively. He's still in the plus minus a minus 2.3 in the 3 games he's been back and averaging less than 1 rebound. But all things considered, it's a welcome sight to see Dylan back and making shots because I think the defense and everything else will come along.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Yeah, there's need guys that can hit open threes. Because Garrett Temple has proven not to be that.
Yeah, and you know what's crazy is Shelvin Mack is still shooting 40% from 3 on the season.
Does not feel like it.
Like what?
Does that count warm-ups and does that count pregame warm-ups? Shoot around?
That really – so our plus and minus positives for the entire season are Mike, who's a 3.7, Caspi, who's plus 1.8, then you got Mark, Garrett, and Jaron, who is only a plus 0.1. So those are the only 5 with positives on the whole season.
That's not super encouraging.
Mm-hmm.
But you want to hear something else random? When I was looking up lineups, our third best lineup that has played more than 20 minutes is Mike, Mark, JaMychal, Chandler, and Garrett Temple. Who played like the first 3 games together as the starters.
Mike, Mark, Chandler, and Garrett. That's got to be like and J Mike. That's ugly.
And I don't know how they were plus 4.7 when Indiana ran them out of the gym in that first game. You remember dude kept driving right by Chandler.
Dude, like I'm starting to think that all these statistics are bullshit, man. Like
sabermetrics are crap.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Give me back to the good old box score.
Yeah, just give me, hey, this guy scored 20 points on 30 shots, so it's fucking good. 7 rebounds.
In the 8 lineups that have played more than 20 minutes, Jaron is in just 1 negative lineup, and Shelvin and J Mike are in all but 1. And Mark pops up in more negative ones than you would like to see. But Mark's been bad in the second half. Like, I don't know if it's his injury or just that kind of like part of the season where his conditioning hits a wall. But just in the second halves, man, he has not been that great lately.
That's lingering stinger. That's what he's got. Him and Mariota.
Yeah. Maybe Mark needs to sit out. I wouldn't have mind him sitting out when we played that brutal stretch of Houston, Golden State, and Portland, even if he would have set those games out.
Yeah, I know Peter Edmondson at The Athletic wrote something about how like we can't. It's hard for us to be able to afford to sit Mark, even though you're basically going to take L's pretty much if he's not in there to play.
Right.
Which we did take L's. Crap.
Yeah. So.
Whoops.
Yeah.
Could have gotten free L's instead of having to pay for them. That's what it feels like.
In our 18 wins, we're averaging 106.4 points, and in the 17 losses, we're averaging just 96.8. Offensive rating still near the bottom of the league at 26th in the league, and defensive rating just outside the top 5. We're currently at 6th, and our rebound percentage is still 29th, right there at the bottom. Oof. So
we were winning those games at the beginning of the season. Our defensive rating was like 2nd, right, or 3rd.
Right. Yeah. So
we got to be top 5 defense if we're going to score like we do.
Yeah, and I mean, especially because you think about those games that we win, a lot of them are 2, 4, 5-point victories. So if we're just giving up, a couple extra baskets in the 3rd quarter or 2nd quarter or whatever, then those points really come back to bite a team like us in the ass who struggles to score.
Yeah.
Kyle Anderson's been great though, man. He ripped Kyrie Irving last night. And it was just like a thing of beauty. I don't know if I've ever seen Kyrie get ripped like that. And I think Brevin Knight said the same thing. But over these last 3 games, Slow-Mo's averaging 3 steals a game. That's crazy.
I don't know what it is about him, man. Long arms. He's just like he's so fucking crafty. It's such a pleasure to have him on the team. Like, great signing.
Yeah, I mean he cuts really well. He
rebounds really well. There's a lot of shots. There's a lot of shots that go up, and I'm like, see it come off the rim, and I'm like, I see Mark at the perimeter. I'm like, oh shit, who's gonna get that? And then you'll see Kyle go up and rip it down. Like he gets some tough boards.
Yeah, he and J Mike are probably our 2 best rebounders, and Rab, Bro's boy Rab, who actually, when he's gotten some playing time these past couple of games, I thought he's done a lot better than when they just toss him in there to
against
the
Embiid. Here you go. Here's Joel Embiid and Anthony Davis. Good luck. So then carry past Wednesday, Friday, playing the Nets again. And I can't think about the Nets anymore without thinking about the coming out of Jaren Jackson.
Yeah.
So that brings a smile to my face. The Nets, I think they've got a lot of guys. They got a lot of guys. They're pretty banged up right now. Crabbe is day-to-day with the knee. Hollis Jefferson went day-to-day with the right adductor. This is just from this weekend. Another guy's sick. And obviously Karis LeVert's out. And they're also look like they're resting a lot of guys. At least they did this weekend. So if we play them on Friday, I don't know what their schedule looks like, but we probably won't get the benefit of any guys resting. But they're currently 17-21, 9th in the East.
Ooh, trying to make the playoffs in Brooklyn.
Yeah. But,
you guys heard about this the Rodions Kurucs or whatever?
What's that?
He's this where's he from? He's a European guy, and he's apparently just really hooping for him right now. He's like it was a draft and stash guy, and now has come over. He used to play for Barcelona, I think, and they tried to put him on the second team in Barcelona, so he said, fuck y'all, I'm going to the league. And with a second-round pick this past year, but he's like a 6'9" wing, could shoot it, and apparently has just been like hooping the last 3 games while they've had injuries. He's like had a huge come out. So I think maybe look out for him. He's just kind of apparently he's been really exciting recently. I saw some dudes talking about him on either Reddit or maybe some of the Ringer podcasts, but random European guy that might drop 40 on us is the typical type Grizzlies fare.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah. Look for this guy to get like 20 and you'd be like, who the hell is this guy? So that's just classic.
Yeah,
he's got.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, he's got 9 games where he scored in double figures, and I mean not a ton of minutes. So he, and a lot of those are recent. So yeah, he definitely could be a threat to us. Yeah, maybe you can do some scouting for JB and those guys. Can you send that note over to him, please?
If I send a note to him, he'll like not play Jaren at all. So I don't just bench him for the DNP him for like the rest of the season. I don't think he takes criticism well, as we've seen. So.
No, and then our old friends, San Antonio on Saturday,
which we won there earlier this year for the first time since 2015.
On the best whistle we've ever gotten in the history of Grizzlies whistles. Like,
hey, the Spurs have gotten plenty of good whistles against the Grizzlies over the last 10 years or so.
Yeah, didn't we get screwed right after that in LA? Or am I making that up? Or wasn't there a call that like literally
game,
righted itself?
The Clippers game when Mike Conley fouled out in the fourth quarter.
Oh,
with 5 fouls, and then the call at the end of the game on somebody. I can't remember what happened at the very end, but yeah, we did.
Yeah, we do not. I don't feel bad taking advantage of some of those calls the way that the whistles usually go for us.
Yeah, no, me either. Not one bit.
We stay getting rooked, man.
I'm telling you, man. Robert should hire an investigative firm to see how many calls have been missed against the Grizzlies each season and compare it to other teams. I mean. Yeah, that could change the world, Mr. Pera. So it'd be cool.
You put some capital towards it.
Yeah.
I mean, a couple million will probably get the job done, right? I mean, this
Sure, I
guy,
would assume.
this is the guy who paid Chandler Parsons like $30 million a year. So let's not discuss talk about business decisions.
Ooh, we could get Chandler to do it while he's sitting at home not playing.
Yeah, he seems to be on the computer. On the
Right.
On the just get him like
Let's get him like 30 years of film of every game ever, and then put him to work, man. Let's get him. Set him up a cubicle there in the forum.
Yeah, I mean that would help him help us. So give him something to do.
Oh man.
He can have my old cube.
I love the,
Oh man.
I love the notion of him like clocking in and like gets his coffee like everyone else and sits down. It's like those ESPN commercials when they're working in like the
mascots.
Yeah.
Who got the last cup of coffee?
Oh, this is what happens when we record too late.
Yeah. No, this is good stuff here. This is the gold at the end of the pot.
The gold.
Yeah.
Sweet. So where can our listeners find you guys on Twitter?
At the Barn Chief.
At Barn Burner Slim, baby. And at _Barn Burner.
And we also have a site-specific Twitter account now for the Backdoor Cut Show. It is actually, I just gave it away, at Backdoor Cut Show.
Mm.
Well, yeah,
So make sure to
show. Not
the
the
show.
podcast, the show.
The show.
Yeah, we're the show.
So make sure to check that out.
We might be trying to get on the radio.
That rhyme was magical.
That was pretty good.
Yo.
Yo. Yeah.
The show.
That was needed. So, yeah, stay tuned for more content on the-barnburner.com. More Grizzlies, Tigers coverage. Some Chiefs got some in the can film podcasts coming your way. So we will be looking forward to 2019. Hopefully the Grizz pick up a few more wins, and we'll see you guys later.
Thanks for 2018.
Let's get this one tomorrow, Grizz. Come on, close out the year strong. Forget James Harden. Let's go.
Aha!